Welcome to the CE Pro podcast. I'm executive editor Arlen Schweiger. There aren't many brands in the custom electronics industry that can trace their roots back to the 19th century, but Somfy can. You heard me right. Somfy started back in the mid-1800s in a small French valley near the border of Switzerland. This is just one of the many tidbits of info on this week's podcast that CE Pro editor Jason Knott discovered about this constantly evolving company.
If ever there was a time for companies to adapt, it's now. The market has been changing so dramatically. And one company that's really branched out and evolved is Somfy. So here to talk with me about Somfy today is Brittany Mir-Turenne, the Partnerships and CI Channel Manager at Somfy. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm great. So I understand this is a new role at Somfy. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you're integrating with the custom installation community.
Yeah, it is a new role. So I'm handling partnerships and the custom integration channel for Somfy, specifically in the North American area. And we are working sort of at two angles with this channel. So we work on a partnership level with corporations in both the commercial and the residential space to make sure that all of our software and equipment aligns the way that it needs to. And then we're getting right into the channel with custom integration. We're working directly with integrators, and that is a lot of what I'm going to be doing in my day-to-day, making sure that our software works the way it needs to, that any of the components, the motors, the controls have all the functionality and features that integrators are looking for. And we thought it was really important to dedicate time and manpower to doing that. Have a really strong history in the window treatment space. We make more motors in the world than any other motor manufacturer. And because of that, we've always been there next to integration channel, but we've never had programs or true engagement because we sell motors and controls to our customers, which are fabricators. And those fabricators have dealers. And traditionally, those treatments are making it to the channel a different way through interior designers and architects. And we've not had certified and validated drivers. And it was a really important pivot for us to make. So we are here. 2021 is the year of custom integration in Somfy. We're very excited to have a really nice product roadmap ahead of us with product and software as well. And we'll be making announcements throughout the year with that.
Everyone in the custom installation industry is familiar with the Somfy brand name, but tell us briefly how the company's heritage has evolved and something we may not know about Somfy.
Yeah, so a lot of people know Somfy. Our logo is stamped all over the place. But really where we got our start is in a French valley, very close to Switzerland. And it was an organization of craftsmen making watch parts for Swiss watchmakers. And that was early 1800s. By the mid 1800s, we'd evolved into fishing rods and fishing reels, still going with that mechanical tooling. And then in the 1960s and 1969, an awning and shutter manufacturer local to the area approached a slew of manufacturers to see if anyone can create a solution that would power these shutters and awnings that were really prevalent in Europe at that time. And Somfy was the only one that could do it. And it basically created an entire pivot for our organization. Motorization of exterior components is our number one space in the world. We do more of that than anywhere. Of course, in North America, we do a lot of interior roller shades. But from that was where we got our start in motorization. And shortly after that, in the 70s, we came up with the Somfy-matic, which was actually a weather sensor. That was the start of automation for those coverings. So we started powering them. Then we really created automation in that space, which it's a little unique. You know, mostly in the channel, the manufacturers have their starts in audio or video or some sort of control. We came from a very side exterior place, which also represents why we've gotten into the channel a little bit later. And this conversation started a little bit later than it did with other people that started in screens and sound and things like that.
That is a really cool story. And I didn't know that I should be saying Somfy with a French accent. I didn't know that was the origin of the company name. Very cool. Okay, so as we head into 2021, Somfy has some new developments regarding your integration with third-party control systems and the integration channel in general. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we're working really closely with all the major manufacturers in the channel, making sure that for the first time ever, we have validated and certified drivers, modules, and profiles for all the major manufacturers of control platforms. And we've really done that in the residential and commercial space as well. So we've got all your favorite CEDIA, Space, Control4, and Crestron, URC, Elan, Savant. We even have a Crestron home driver in the works for all of our major interfaces for everyone that's wondering. And then also on the commercial side, we've been working very closely with Crestron, making sure that we're fully validated in their systems as well. So it's really, the program starts with making sure that the products have all the infrastructure that they need to succeed in the channel. And then the other thing that we're doing is working very closely with integrators. We are listening very, very closely. We're asking a lot of questions. We want to know what the integration channel wants and needs, because sometimes integrators specify a product, but sometimes our product's coming in by others. And when it comes in by others, I think it's really important that the integrator can be relieved at that and not worried about how well it can integrate into their system. So if you are not one of the integrators that are actively engaging with us, I definitely invite you to reach out. We love to hear thoughts, opinions, experiences, loves, gripes, because we're using that to directly impact our roadmap. And it's working out great. So we're looking forward to all the fruitful journey that this is going to bring.
So speaking of the Somfy product, how would an integrator get Somfy product onto the job site?
So traditionally that happens one of two ways. You could, of course, specify it. So if an integrator already has a relationship with our fabricators, we have hundreds of fabricators here in North America, you can get that. Always ask for a Somfy motor, because a lot of fabricators have many motors available. And it's really important to know that not all motors are equal. So if you wanted to get Somfy product on because you knew it was going to integrate well, when you're working with any of these fabricators of motorized components, you can just specify that you'd like it built with a Somfy motor inside. And then you know that when you tie it into your Control4 system or your Crestron system, that it's just going to work well. The other way that Somfy product gets onto a job, and I know integrators are all too familiar with this, is there's an interior designer or an interior architect or others specifying the fixtures and the furnishings. And then the window treatments are coming by others. And to create that symbiotic relationship where the integrator isn't put in a place saying, I need you to choose from this smaller selection of hardware and this specific selection of fabrics, the integrator could just say, look, I know that you probably have your own local artisans you want to work with. As long as it's Somfy inside, I know it's going to work. And then that gives the other designers freedom to work within their trades and not feel like they're being restricted by our trade, because the tech is important when you're talking about integrating.
Another area of focus I know for Somfy has been outdoor technology, and the market has been very strong, especially with COVID-19. So many integrators were doing outdoor projects when they were prohibited from doing indoor projects, and it's just carried on throughout the year since the pandemic hit. What is Somfy specifically doing from an offering standpoint for the outdoor market?
So in the outdoor market, we started in awnings and rolling shutters. So that's still a strong space for us. But then you also have exterior screening. So if you're those inside outside spaces. And one thing that we're really excited about is pergolas. So we can also motorize pergolas, which is a really wonderful way to create spaces. You can get them custom sized and fixed size and things like that. But one place that I see outdoor growing a whole lot is these inside outside rooms where you have the exterior screens and they can create that multi-living space.
Right, in many cases, Somfy is really the key ingredient for an integrator to be able to bring a smart pergola or smart screens, whether it be mosquito screens or shading screens on an outdoor environment, because the only way to control that is going to be by integrating with the Somfy motor.
Yeah, we work really closely with all sorts of partners and our fabricators specifically, especially those that want to enter the channel, and make sure that they have that. So when they want, an integrator needs to create control between one of the major platforms, they know that because their motor is a Somfy motor, they're never going to have a problem with that question. And it really helps to be able to be the bridge between these really cool outdoor structures and the integration systems that we're used to.
So when an integrator gets an outdoor project, what should he do to talk to those various, different disparate components like the smart pergolas and those sorts of things to make sure that it's compatible via Somfy? Should he just flat out ask that manufacturer, hey, does it have a Somfy motor? Because that's the only way I'm going to be able to integrate it with this third-party control system.
Yeah, absolutely. We recommend that you just ask if it's powered by Somfy. Powered by Somfy, you can rest assured that there's a way to tie it into your control platform, no matter what that is.
Fantastic. Where do you think in general 2021 is going to head in terms of the outdoor market? I know 2020, as I described, was very hot. We did some research in CE Pro that showed there were actually dealers did about the same number of jobs, but the average ticket was up. So where do you see that market heading for 2021?
The trend just seems to be going up and up and up. And I'm not sure about you, but just the organic market research you can do looking outside, it's changed. I mean, our home is now a safe zone. Even when COVID's gone, we now have this experience of being in the outside world and then coming home where we know where any of the pathogens or things are. And I think because of that, the outdoor socialization space, it's gonna grow. It was already getting all these little awesome inventions and things that were tweaking it, kind of like work from home. It was already getting there, we were already doing it, but COVID seems to just knock this into full swing. Our outdoor market, we did even better than we thought we were gonna do pre-COVID last year at Somfy. Just the outdoor projects are insane this year. And coming into this spring, we're already starting to see the buzz and the interest, the people that didn't bite on projects last year and are still seeing a summer with a little bit of uncertainty and comfort in being in large environments. So I think we're looking up. I think these outdoor living spaces, vacations with your own home and property, that's a trend that seems like it's going to stick around for a while.
I'm always jealous when I'm on a Zoom call and I see the other person sitting beside their pool. So I agree with you. In New England, it's tough to do. Yeah, we got to move, right? All right, Brittany, thank you so much for joining CE Pro today.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Jason.